How are you, Dee?
Bad.
My name is Ken. I am going to be the guy facilitating, but I have to do the sound at the same time. So we're recording you, and we're going to make you sound good. So I would gratefully appreciate. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for this cast of The Howling. Dee, Jerry, and Brenda. So, like I said, I'm going to do this really short and sweet. I'm a diehard fan. I said this to Jerry and Belinda. For me, The Wolfman was the greatest werewolf movie ever, but the greatest modern-day werewolf movie was The Howling. And your character...
Good save.
No, that's absolutely 100%. I have an original Howling poster that I'm going to have you guys sign tomorrow that I had to have restored.
If you're lucky.
It was found in a porn shop in L.A. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to ask a couple questions, and then I'm going to turn it over, because it's not about me, it's about you guys. I can talk about this movie forever. I can talk about all their other roles. But I want to keep it to The Howling, so if you have a Howling-related question, let me know. But I'm going to start off doing this one. So, Jerry,
yes.
I told you, here's your question. I want you to think really hard. I
I
told Jerry that I had a question I don't think he's ever been asked before.
My wife has asked me every question I think that I've...
Well, in The Howling,
what?
when you're standing there in The Howling,
Yes.
and you're on the beach, what was the cut of meat?
What was the what?
The cut of meat of the steak that you were cooking.
What was I cooking?
Yeah, you remember you were cooking all the steak and you tried to give Bill the steak and
Yeah,
the
I
meat?
was cooking a steak.
Yeah, but what kind of steak was
It
it?
was a porterhouse.
And did you guys all eat the porterhouse? Was it?
No, we did not. We did not eat it at all. It was later that the the director realized I did this commercial for A1 steak sauce for a long time.
Oh, funny. Oh,
That's why I asked him about the steak, because I remember that
you got
commercial.
it.
That's
He
right.
was-
It was in the early '80s.
He was
That's
so
right.
afraid people are going to go, that's the A1 guy.
No, I was about to say that and you mentioned it. So again, I
That
don't know
is
how often people ask you about the A1 steak sauce.
I got it for many, many, many years. It's starting to fade away now. I always thought that would be in my epitaph.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's just really short questions because, like, as a fan, I can go on. So, Dee,
What?
have you read the book, the original Gary novel?
No.
no.
Okay. Well, then I'll ask you a non-related question. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling. It's been a long day for all of us.
I've had a great day.
Yeah.
She has.
I've had a lot. I've had such great exchange of love at my table. You know,
Awesome.
everybody that's come up, and yeah, I've had a busy,
Very busy.
and we like it that way, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you
like
never
the
read
love.
you never read the original novel?
No.
No.
Has any of you guys read it?
We were told not to read it, that it really
No, I
wasn't-
never did. No.
That it was
Okay.
pretty
No, I
bad.
didn't. No,
I remember Joe saying, don't read it.
Well, I think it was more they kind of went away from a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like they kept the
I
principle.
think Joe thought it really sucked, and
Yeah, he
that's why
definitely thought
he
it
brought
really
John
sucked.
Sayles in, and they rewrote it.
That's
Totally
right,
agree.
John.
I have the
Sayles.
novelization, so I mean I've read them both, and it's just
My
I didn't know.
character isn't even in the book.
I know.
Oh,
John
Sad.
Sayles actually took my character from Piranha, and because he liked what I did with Betsy, and made that character into Terry Fisher. He told me that when we were shooting the morgue scene.
Oh,
He
okay.
said, I wrote this part for you. I had no idea.
Wow. Oh, nice.
The
Yeah.
morgue scene?
Huh?
You said the morgue?
Scene. Yeah,
Morgue.
he's in the morgue with me, John, yeah.
You remind me of my mother.
Who, me?
Yes. You have-
Shocker!
I'm gonna sit
I
next to
don't
this
play
guy.
many of them, you know.
Oh, that's right. So, Belinda, I guess the question to you would be that, you know, I know that you had, you know, a lot of scenes running through the forest and in the mountain and stuff like that by the cliffs and stuff like that. Out of all those sets that you had to, you know, run through in the woods, is there anything in there that you remember that is just like, oh my God, this is like, have you been back there?
Well, first of all, my character runs from Mendocino all the way down to Big Bear.
Okay, in the movie it wasn't.
If you look at the trees, you know, alongside of me, you'll see the trees completely changed, like about 4 different times.
Okay.
Yeah. You go from palm trees to, big pines to.
And the redwoods?
It's pretty funny if you, yeah. if
Well,
you-
I mean, I guess the question was, is there a certain
They just
set?
didn't have
certain
enough
scene?
running shots, so they took me up to Griffith Park, and John laid down on the ground, and I jumped over him, and there was like all kinds of funny little shots that we did up in Griffith Park, and then that wasn't enough, so we all went up to Big Bear with Mike, of course, in his car, and we did a bunch of shots up in Big Bear, and it started all up in Mendocino, and we did some in Santa Barbara. We were all over the place.
Good God, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually a whole reel. That whole running thing is a complete reel. It's
I
really,
think Dee only worked in like one
it's
area.
one
Yeah.
paragraph. When you read it, it's one paragraph, but when you see it, it's a whole reel.
Yeah.
It's a big production to get you around, huh?
I
Hey, that's okay.
think he
So-
left me in those jeans.
Has anybody got any questions? Anybody? Bueller, I can keep going. I just want to help everybody
Oh,
get
come
involved.
on, you guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
know
listen,
you wanna-
I know it doesn't have to be Howling related. I guess, like they've all have a good body of work. You can ask them other related questions. I mean,
How
it is the
many of
Howling
you-
Panel.
How many of you know that we didn't have very many werewolves to work with? They weren't even finished.
We didn't even have the werewolf at all when we shot it.
Yeah. My whole reaction to the big transformation that happens, we had no werewolves. So Joe said, okay, I'm just going to call it out. So he said, okay, now he's getting taller. Okay, now his ears are growing. Whoops, there comes his nose. And the crew started doing exactly what you're doing, to the point where I couldn't hold it together anymore. So I said, Joe, just tell me what order it goes in and I'll imagine it. But you
That's
didn't
funny.
have,
I didn't have the werewolf either. I just had Joe kicking a gurney at me, and then I was dealing from then on. Those were all my close-ups, and then 4 months later, I got the call that the werewolf is done, and I was living in Hawaii at the time, and they're like, come back, we're gonna shoot the 2 shots with the werewolf. You just have to match your close-ups. I said, 4 months later, you want me to match my close-ups? Are you serious? So I came back, and to the hair girl, Gigi, I said, my hair's grown, you probably should trim it. And she's like, no, it looks the same. I said, no, it's grown at least 2 inches. And she's like, no, I have Polaroids, it looks fine. But if you watch that scene, my hair goes like this throughout the whole scene. It's pretty funny.
So what was it
I-
like? I mean, were any of you guys on set when they did the flying werewolves out of the top of the barn? Because
Well,
those were some of the
no,
gags that they were going to
because
do.
those were all special effects.
Oh.
And it was right at the beginning when they were doing CGI. So they gave it a shot. It looked like shit, and they cut it.
Oh, the flying
Yeah.
werewolves
Yeah.
is a classic.
Yeah, it was not good.
I didn't
Right.
turn into a werewolf until that scene, and I had Dee around the neck, and Dugan said, stand back, I have silver bullets, and I said, silver bullets my ass.
That's right.
And I looked
Famous
down,
line.
Great line.
and
Yeah.
down I went. But during they wanted me to wear these Coke bottle contact lenses from the 40s. I knew that scene was coming up, and they were going to put them in, and they did a couple scenes before mine with actors that had to put these in. And I said, look, before I put these things in my eyes, which I kind of like, the way they are, I don't know if I want to put a piece of glass in my eye.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to the other actors. And they were very reluctant to do that. I demanded, I want to see how it went with them. So they took me to a trailer, and there they were in the back of this Winnebago with pieces of meat on their eyes. And they said, don't do it. Don't do it. It's like sand in your eyes. So I just rolled my eyes up like that, and that was it. As I wasn't going to do it, I just refused to do it.
I actually had the glass thing in
Did
my
you have
eye,
them
but Rob O'Teen put it in my eye, and I was completely freaking out because I can't even put eye drops in my eyes, But he did it so gently and so well that it didn't bother me. And of
I
course-
don't even know what y'all are talking about.
Terry, that was when,
I guess
Terry.
I never
Is that when
My
she was
eyes
laying
are
on the
open
table
at
after
the
they killed her?
beginning of that, they're just open, but sort of dead, but it has that look because they're glassed
Because
over.
at the end of the Howling, they put contacts in my eyes, but they were real contacts.
Oh, they were? Oh, they were these old
Mine were,
things from,
mine were
we had, our eyes had to turn green. Did your eyes turn green with these
No,
contacts? Oh,
these were
these were gonna get her turn,
these
green
were like
eyes.
14 karat gold covered
Oh, well, you were
contacts where I
the
where I
lead.
roll back before I turn into the Bambi werewolf.
Yeah,
Cutest
So the
werewolf
story
ever.
about my Bambi werewolf is I had it in my contract for some reason back then. It was important that my character would never turn into a werewolf. And when they got all the cards back from the screeners, everybody wanted to see Karen turn into a werewolf. Well, I was up doing Cujo, so Joe called me and explained it, and I said, I don't care, Joe. Could you make her a little bit more vulnerable because she's fought against it so hard? So that's an animatronic that Rob and Joe came up with that was a little bit of a vulnerable werewolf. But it's so Joe, and it's so Joe's sense of humor. I loved it.
It was funny. It was
personally.
very funny.
Perfect.
Very
Yeah.
funny. Tell me about the end of the movie in the barn. A couple of girls dancing up on the
Yeah.
Oh, God.
up on the second
Yeah,
floor.
well, the other thing I had in my contract is that there would be no additional nudity, other than the scene where my fiance, my real life fiance, Christopher Stone, who played my husband, had the love scene with the she-wolf, which I will not go into, Miss Elizabeth. And so I go into the barn scene, and there's these three very well-endowed ladies with their endowment hanging over the edge of the balcony. And I said, what the hell is this? And Joe said, well, the studio got the notes that they Europe wanted more nudity. And I said, no, I have in my contract there's no nudity added because that made it more of a B film.
And it
and-
was, yeah.
So they called our executive producer, Dan Blatt. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning. He screeches in his little
That's right.
sports car,
Gosh.
opens the door, walks in, takes one look at him, says, she's right, it's stupid. Lose it. Got back in his car and drove off. So,
I remember
Yeah.
walking in, and there they were, these three girls, totally nude, dancing. I said, wow, I didn't know it was this kind of movie. I
Yeah,
had no
thank
idea.
you.
Totally.
When I got
So you
And
in.
mean
it
they were
wasn't.
originally going to have dancing, like werewolf biker babes dancing?
no, no, but they weren't little bitty titties, okay?
No, they were not. No. They were not.
They were not.
Not at all.
Meanwhile, I'm laying there on the table with raw chicken all over me that's starting to cook under the lights. And literally, you
Yeah,
can
it
smell
was
And you hear it
sizzling.
sizzling, you know? And I'm
Yeah.
like laying there going, oh my God, I'm probably going to die of, bacteria poisoning or something. So the next night when we had to do it again, they got a double for me because I was
And you
not.
wouldn't-
And you
Wait
think
there.
they pay us too much.
With chicken
Yes.
on you like that, I guess. So here's another question, maybe. What was it like working with arguably one of the greatest special effects guys in the world? What was it like
Fabulous.
with Rob Bottin?
Absolutely
It was
fabulous.
He
amazing.
was
Incredible.
The best.
the
Absolutely.
pro of all pros. He was there every minute. He was involved in the lighting. He was involved in spraying them down. The angles that they shot, he was unbelievably
I had already
professional.
worked with him on Piranha. He had done all the fish, right? So he
Right.
was like 16 when I met him. Joe says he was 18 because legally he can't be 16, but he was 16 when I met him. Suddenly he was 17, and then Joe was saying, well, he's really 19 now. But he wasn't.
He invented this artificial tongue that would come out, which was in the scene with your fiance, and the tongues would just, and he was going to give me one of those that I wanted to use for a Thanksgiving dinner. Have it come
Oh,
out.
my God.
I never got it, but he promised it to me, and I never got it.
Funny.
I
Oh
really
my
wanted
God.
that.
Yeah, Joe, you know, because when you work with a crew, you get very close to them. You become a family.
Yeah, you do.
And so Joe came up to me the day before Chris and Elizabeth were going to shoot that scene, and he said, so, Dee, so the crew's, well, we were all wondering, are you going to be there tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah. I remember
And I
that.
said, no, I will be in town drinking. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, thank God. We were all so worried that,
Yeah.
you know, you were going to be standing there watching that scene with Chris and Elizabeth. And I'm glad I wasn't after I saw it, by the way.
Yeah. Many of the guys had to have, which I had a face mask, a life mask, where they cover your entire face with plaster and they put 2 straws in your nose.
Oh,
I thought, oh, I can. Just before me, there was this big hulk of a guy, weightlifter guy. He just got hysterical and started ripping it off his face and ran out onto the backyard screaming. And I said,
it's scary.
yeah, I said, I can do this. So we're going along fine, and he has the straws, and all of a sudden, it backed up and everything, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And I said, get it off. And they had to rip it off of me. And
Yeah, I had to have one of those done in Poland with makeup artists that didn't speak English.
oh, God. It's like,
And that was scary.
yeah.
That was
yeah,
scary.
Yeah, it was.
I did
That
that
I did
in,
not like that at all. No.
What was it
I could have
called?
done without that.
Nightmare Cinema. They did a whole,
Yeah.
well, they did
Yeah.
It's
from
like-
here to here on me. I had,
It's like you're being buried alive.
They made fake boobs
they
for
made
you?
a whole thing. Yeah.
Really?
I said, I'll wear them if I can keep them. By the time they got them off of me, they were so ripped to shreds. I said, that's all right.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
There's a question back there.
Whoa. Hey, I'm coming.
I knew if we kept talking long enough,
Yeah,
y'all
hey,
would.
listen, sometimes this is where you get the stuff you don't ever hear about.
I know.
And that's what we love.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't really have a question. It's more of a comment. To Ms. D. Wallace, and this isn't even really about The Howling, which I watched as a kid, and I probably shouldn't have because there was some naughty stuff in it beyond the werewolves, but my mother didn't care about what I was watching. But anyway, just you were in Cujo, and I saw that around the same time. I was maybe about 8, 9. And we went and saw it at the theater, so, you know, there's this big, giant, crazy dog on this big,
Yeah.
giant screen going, you know, just terrorizing folks. And it's not so much like a hindsight thing. I think I remember just at the time watching that, being terrified of this dog, because, you know, kids, we love dogs, but some of them are scary, and that's real. And just seeing you in that character, like, as that mom that was not going to let this dog hurt her child, but her too, but mama bear protecting the baby,
You bet.
basically. And I just remember, like, I was sitting there, like, my heart like this, while this dog is going, you know, there he is and there he's not. He's playing, like, a game of chicken, basically. And, you know, your character, of course, was scared to death. You're like, oh my God, I have to fight this dog. He's rabid, he's crazy, he's trying to kill me and my son. But like, you know, you did that. Like, at the end, it wasn't Dad that came to save the day, it was you. And I just remember being like so, just like relieved, even as like, Mom did it. She took care of it. And like, that's that thing I think with horror films. We watch this stuff because we want to be scared and we, you know, but it has to be that like humanity triumphs over this evil stuff that's trying to
Yeah.
take us out. So I do viscerally remember just being like relieved that your character, like, okay, boom, and you're the one that was able to do it. Nobody else was able to get rid of that rabid, insane Saint Bernard, but you. And I just,
Well,
thank you for that. I didn't
Thank
know
you.
that I'd ever be able to address you to say that,
Well,
like
I
40 years
appreciate
on,
that.
but thank you.
you.
And thank your character
And,
for that.
and Cujo and the Howling are really both about the light against the dark, the love against the evil or the hate, And I just want to take this moment to say and encourage all of you, take more love out into the world, because God, we need it now.
That's right.
That's for sure.
Thank you for that, Dee.
Thank you for those kind comments.
So, here's another little brief question. So, obviously, you guys mind talking about some other stuff other than Howling?
Nope.
Okay. So, Jerry.
Yes.
You were on Barney Miller.
Yes, I did a few of those.
How was that?
That was fun. I enjoyed it. I knew Ron Carey. I knew him for years in New York, and he was a fun guy to work with. And the others, it was just fun going on the set. It was always a great time. There was one moment when the director gave me a direction, and Barney Miller, he gave me a different direction. You're not gonna do it that way. Don't do it that way. And I didn't know which way to go.
Oh, my God.
The star of the show or the
Yeah.
director. And
Yeah.
it was a very difficult spot to be in.
Yeah.
That part I didn't like, but otherwise I enjoyed it, and I had a great time. Danny Arnold directed.
Oh, yeah.
That he came back and directed, and he directed that episode I did. It was the second when the precinct was being sold.
Yep.
It was the second last episode, and so I played 3 days. It was great because they didn't mind bringing the same actor back. So I played 3 totally different characters. I was a real estate agent. I was a guy in a convention who people wouldn't. I was signing up people for the Peace Corps, and they all wanted to go into finance at the other table, and I got hysterical and threw the table over, and I got arrested for causing a disturbance because nobody wanted to sign up for the Peace Corps back in the 70s. And so it was fun. It was fun being able to play those kind of characters.
When we were all coming up, you could do a guest star on an episode, and if it was on the next year, you knew you were going back, and you knew you were going back the year after. These days, if you're on a show, that's it. One time, you're done. And
It's like you're associated with that forever,
Well, no, it's just, oh my God, they played this character, so we can't have them back. It's stupid.
Yeah, there were a lot of shows that did that.
Yeah.
Law and Order did not do that. I did about 13 episodes of that, and Dick Wolf was great about that. I'd come back at all different people, and it was in nice
Yeah.
roles too.
I
That
did
was
it
the
on
exception.
Murder, She Wrote. I did 5 of those.
Yeah, there were some shows where they didn't care. I did one show where one of my commercials came on, and they got hysterical. Why didn't you tell us your commercial was going to be on the show?
Oh, for God's
As if I bought the airtime,
Right.
Yeah.
But today they don't care. They don't care if they're, especially if it's a superstar doing the commercial. They're not going to care if he's in the show and his commercial comes on at the same time. But back then they were very funny about that.
So what was your first impression? We're going to go back to the Howling. Sometimes it's okay to step off. When you got the script and you each looked at your characters and you finally were like, did you ever think that you'd be in that kind of movie, like a werewolf movie? It's not like, oh my God, we're going to make a greatest movie or the werewolf movie they're going to talk about for years. But when you got the script and you're like reading it and all of a sudden you're like, did you ever, as you're reading it, go, I'm in a werewolf movie or I'm going to, that kind of horror movie?
No, I went, thank God I've got a job and they're paying me this much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I loved the script when I got it. Again, it was never
Yeah.
a werewolf movie. I
No.
didn't look at it from
Yeah,
that
I didn't
perspective.
either.
I looked at it from the perspective of my character
Right,
Okay.
and what her journey
right,
and fight was within the film.
right.
The trauma's crazy. I mean, Karen went through it. And even,
You think?
when she was in that therapy session and she was right there and they do that flash where they show Eddie in with the camera behind him, and if you stop it just right, you can see what he was becoming. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever done that. I mean, you were probably, I don't know if you were in the room.
If I ever done what?
So there's a scene in The Howling where you're in the flashback and you're in the thing, and everybody's like, "What do you see, Karen?" They're going around, and they do a flashback where you're in the booth in the porn shop, and you see Eddie transforming, and if you stop it just right, you can see what he became. You could see him as a werewolf in an image. It's a still photo.
And your question about have I ever seen what?
No, I meant the trauma that you were going through.
Honey, any trauma that I've played on the movie screen can't compare anything to the trauma I've had in my life. So, yeah, I have a lot to call on. I have 2 suicides in my family. My father was an alcoholic. We were dirt poor. And you know, it made me who I am today. And the important thing is, what the hell am I doing with it now?
Right. All right. Yeah, that's good. I met you at the Prism Awards a bunch of years back in Beverly Hills Hotel, and I asked you about that because that was a great thing because the Prism Awards recognizes drug and alcohol abuse, you know, in television and movies, and that's where I met you. And was kind of funny because like I was really excited when I met you, and I kind of walked up to you as you were coming out of the bathroom, and you were taken back, and my wife says, "Don't worry, he's harmless." And you just did one of these. Thank God. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you know, you're in the Beverly Hills Hotel, and there's, I mean, you name it, they were in the building, and she walks out like of a bathroom, and I'm like, oh my God. It's Dee Wallace. Out of everybody there, I mean, you know.
Dee Wallace peas too, guys.
You know, listen. William Shatner was walking around, Michael Douglas, Demi Moore, and Ashton Kutcher. I mean, like, but then she was the only one I went, like, oh my God, you know, like a freight train into her. And she got real nervous. And you were very kind and you were really cordial. So when I get my poster to sign tomorrow, I'll show you the picture of me and you.
Okay, I'd
So I
love
have
to
a
see
picture.
that. Yeah.
So has anybody got any other questions? Oh, we got one over here. Sorry, like I said, I can talk forever.
My question's for Dee. I haven't heard much about anything in interviews really and talked about, but one of my favorite movies of yours, which I think is kind of underrated, is The Frighteners. And I didn't know if you had anything, how was your experience on that movie and like working with Michael J. Fox?
Working with, I didn't have a lot of scenes with Michael. I love Peter Jackson, beyond words. I love the whole company. I had a great time killing everybody. I often joke that I had to go to New Zealand to get out of mother roles. And again, there was a lot of yin and yang for that because my husband, Christopher Stone, of 18 years, died while I was doing that film. So I came back, and my 6-year-old daughter and I put on his service, and then we went back to finish filming. But the experience of filming with that company in New Zealand was absolutely joyful and amazing. Yeah. Very underrated film.
Has anybody got any other questions? Feel free. Because like I said, I mean, I'm sure they're probably getting tired of me talking to them. Go ahead. Hey, listen. Make small talk. Here, hold on. Hold on. You get a microphone. You can be
Oh, come on.
Okay, I just wondered if you all get that experience of excitement, like what celebrities do that for you?
What, honey?
Well, for example, my husband, big Stephen King fan. I can't talk, sorry. And so it was very exciting to meet you because it's like we're all small town
Thank you.
writers. Do you have anybody like that you like were like so excited to meet? Like, oh my gosh, like.
If I ever met Anthony Hopkins and
Yeah,
got
there
to
you
work
go.
with him, I'd die on the spot.
I was pretty excited to meet John Cusack today. That was
Yeah.
definitely happening, yeah.
knock that off the bucket list.
There's a question back there.
Oh, I'm coming.
He said make small talk. So let me ask you, what is your guys' last like films that you've watched that actually have scared you?
What?
I don't understand.
What movies have you recently, or the last movies that you guys have watched that have actually scared you?
The last movies we watched that what?
Oh, scared us?
Yes, what was the
that's
last
scared us?
movie that you watched that you were actually scared when you watched it, like it frightened you?
Oh,
What was the last thing that really frightened
Jeez.
us? The last thing?
Carrie, The Fury. I mean,
Oh my
there's
God, The
a
Fury,
lot
yeah.
of them.
Well, The Exorcist is
The Exorcist, Damon. There's like so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, but more psychological thrillers than horror.
Yeah.
For me.
I watched 2012 just last night, which was weird. It was on, and that was scary, that movie. Very scary. The special
see it.
effects were absolutely incredible. And Cusack was terrific.
There was a plane chase in that movie, which was awesome when they were dipping and diving
Oh
through
my
LA.
God, I don't know how they
It
did
was
all that.
very
It was
good.
just amazing, amazing.
So do we have any
Uh,
other
but-
questions?
There's one over here.
Okay. Where we at? Okay. Sorry.
Is there a role that you regret doing?
You got an hour?
A role you regret? Is that what he's?
Yeah, a
oh.
movie or a part that you've regretted doing.
Yes.
Let me
I
see.
couldn't
not
even
gonna
list
mention
them all. But you know, guys,
Well, yeah.
what you don't understand is we're all human. And sometimes we do shit because we have to for
Yeah.
personal reasons.
Yeah.
I've done movies that I would not have chosen to do because I needed and wanted to keep my grandmother in her house instead of putting her in a home, you know?
Yeah.
And I actually had some reviewer from Texas that wrote the review, why would Dee Wallace
Do this.
do this? And I wrote him back, and I explained to him. And he actually had the graciousness to write an apology and say, I really learned something. I forgot they're just people too.
You know,
Yeah.
but many times you only get like a page or two to audition.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have a clue what the movie's about. You
Yeah.
just want to get the part. And then
Yeah.
you get the
Especially
part,
now.
and then you read the script and go, oh my God, what have I done now? You know, that's happened quite a few times.
Yeah, yeah.
But with The Howling, I don't ever remember when I got the script. I'm trying to, you were answering that, and I was thinking, God, I don't remember getting the script. But I must have
I
at
don't
some point.
remember.
I think I was in Mendocino before I even got it.
I don't think I did
was
either.
supposed to,
Yeah.
Joe had told me that I already have this part, but they were holding auditions, and I was like, well, I was living in Hawaii at the time, and I'm like, do you want me to come back and audition? He says, no, you already have the part. I said, well, then why are you holding auditions? Legally, we have to hold auditions. I said, but what if you like somebody, you know? And he's like, you've got the part, don't worry about it. I'm like, Joe, shouldn't I come? He said, no, what if you blow it? I said, oh, thanks.
That's Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So typical of him. So.
You know, Joe, all of the great flashbacks and cartoons, and
It's all Joe. It's all
Joe paid for
Johnson.
all those because the studio wouldn't. And it really makes a huge difference in the movie.
Puts his humor, a little salt and pepper
Yeah.
in there, you know?
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, they were.
So I have one more
were.
question before we close up here. So
Where
this is
are
my
you?
last question. Is there
Oh.
a prop from The Howling that you kept? And what is it?
I wasn't smart enough yet to do that.
No. Oh, I didn't get that
So
tongue.
honest people.
I had
You mean
somebody-
you didn't keep the bib? You know, the smock that you were cooking with?
What?
When he was on the beach, I went back to the steak
Oh,
thing,
the
I'm
beach.
sorry.
No, I didn't keep anything.
Me
Nothing.
either.
Did you?
I had somebody
No, I
actually
can't.
write me on Facebook and ask me if they could buy the shoes that I wore in The Howling. I said, are you
Really?
serious?
Your
I
shoes?
don't have them.
I have my teeth.
You do?
The werewolf
I
teeth?
have my werewolf teeth at the end.
I still have my silver bullet.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, we're starting the auction
Oh, my
right now.
Right, good point.
Bye,
Listen,
bye.
I'll buy it right now. I don't care how much. What, you want $1,000? I'll give you $1,000 for the thing.
Wow.
But, you know, before we close up, I just want to say thank you, not just for the Howling, but for all the work that you guys have done. You know what I mean?
Thank
But,
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's been, Brenda's been in 12 Joe Dante movies.
I've been in
Not
12
just The
Joe
Howling,
Dante
not just
movies,
Piranha,
yeah.
not just Gremlins. She's in 9
Amazon
other
Women
movies.
in the Moon,
So,
yeah.
you know, I just want to say thank you guys. I want to thank Dee Wallace. I want to thank Mr. Murtaugh and Brenda Balaski from The Howling.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.